6 ways to get more greens into your diet. We're going to be going live with Matt from Raw Intuition. I always thoroughly enjoy lives with him. We always have great discussions, so I'm excited for him to join us today. There's so many lives going on. I'm going to be live again at 5:30 with Raw Chef Yin. We're going to be talking about why oil free. So, bundle that is available right now. The link is in either of our bios. So go grab it if you haven't yet. It's a treasure trove of stuff. It's so awesome. Hey, Matt.
Hey, what's up, Lisa? How are you?
Good. How are you?
Doing good, doing good. I was just thinking, I heard you talking. I'm like, man, what kind of gems are we going to come up with today? Because every time we talk, it's like my mind is blown. So I'm excited.
I know. I love our lives. They're so good. And I wrote down, I was like curling my hair this morning and I was like, okay, I'm going to write down 6 because just in case you say some, I want to.
That's smart.
That, right?
I like that. Yeah, yeah.
So yeah, how have things been going?
Busy, for
Busy.
sure. Yeah.
Yep.
Been a crazy last few months, but yeah, having fun. Just doing the best we can, right? So
and eating the greens.
Eating the greens, yeah. So every day.
Your contribution, can you share a little bit about what you've contributed to the Vegan Health Bundle? And by the way, everybody, you know you can get the bundle by going to the link in either of our bios. Just click on our icons up here, go to either of our bios and buy the bundle because $8,000 worth of stuff, you can't miss it.
No.
So what did you contribute?
Yeah, and I was gonna say before I got into it, it's like I love all your bundles, but when you team up with Chef AJ, it's like you guys bring together such like an amazing variety of different types of content. So yeah, this is one of my favorite ones. Of course, I love the raw bundle, but this one is always really cool. So
aw, thank you. I know this one's one of my favorites too. This one and the raw bundle are the best.
Yeah.
I just love all the connection with everybody, right? There's so many lives going on and so much information sharing. So yeah, so good.
For sure. I love it. All right. Well, yeah, I contributed my latest book, 5-Star Salad Revolution, one of my favorite books that I've come out with so far. And basically this book is like a master guide to creating salads that feel like a meal, right? And they're satisfying, they're nutritious, they're delicious, and they just make it's like I wanted to come up with something that could communicate to people or to have people replicate the same just enjoyment that I get from eating salads. Because, you know, that's one of the things that I've noticed over the last decade plus of living this way. Not enough people get excited or just enjoy eating leafy greens. And they're so vital, I believe, to a healthy long-term diet and to long-term health. And so, yeah, it's really, it's centered around the 5-star salad concept. And so, yeah, it's really what it's about. It's just understanding how to create salads that are nourishing, that can help you, you know, satisfy yourself, reduce risks of cravings and binging and all these sorts of things that I think, you know, a lot of people run into when they don't include leafy greens and these really nutrient dense foods in their diet.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, totally. I agree. And I just love that you share about that. And I love your dressings. It's so interesting. I love the bundles because we get them too, right?
Yeah.
And I love the bundle time because I'm like, oh, I get to try recipes. Like tonight, I made the chana chat salad from Edie again because it was so good.
Yeah.
But yeah, her dressing, like her book is cooked, but like if you look, you can find the raw stuff, right? And I was like, ooh, yeah, that dressing recipe was raw, and I just used sprouted chickpeas instead of cooked ones.
Nice.
So yeah, it was really cool. And I just love trying different recipes from different creators, and yours are some of the best. Nate and I, whenever we make one, we're like, why don't we make Matt's recipes more often?
Nice. Well, I appreciate that. And you better than anybody know how to make these, you know, a cooked vegan meal into a raw, delicious, alternative. So yeah, that's really cool.
Yeah, so much stuff in this bundle, but let's get into the topic.
All right.
You start. So we want to share with all of you watching. Thank you for watching. If you want to buy the bundle, support either of us, go to the icon up here, tap on either of our bios, and get the bundle. But what would be your first one? So we've got 6. We're each going to share
Yeah.
3. What would be your first tip for adding more greens into your diet?
All right. So my first one, and I went with ones that I was thinking maybe you might not go with. So I'm hoping we've got some good variety here.
There's gonna be some gems, bro. There's gonna be some
For
gems.
sure. For sure. So my first one is to change your perception about the role of greens in your diet. All right. So I'm going more like mental approach here. You want to change the way you view greens in your life, because most people are looking at greens as a side dish, a side salad, appetizer, something just to start the meal with. But if you can change your perspective on what role greens play, and you switch that to now the salad is the main course of your dish instead of the side dish, you can start to get into the mindset that you get more excited and you find more creative ways to put more greens into your meals. And again, it doesn't have to be just, one meal. You can change the perspective as greens are a supportive, a complement to really any dish, a smoothie, a juice, whatever you make, a wrap, any of these things, you can find ways to add more greens. And so, yeah, just changing the perception of what greens are and how important they are in your diet.
That's such a good one. Oh, I love it. I'm gonna add on to that with mine. So number 2,
Nice.
mine would be to release the fear around certain things, that like myths that are believed about greens. And I wanted to ask you, because I know you talk about this in your book,
Yep.
but I wanted to talk about this because it's always a topic. It's always brought up. And I'm like, we got to release the fear. So it is along the mindset round, but
Yeah.
what do you say to people who are scared of like oxalates and, lectins and all that stuff?
Yeah, I mean, it's so crazy that people have grabbed onto these myths, outside of a few like certain situations, like if you've been, if you just got done with a heavy course of antibiotics, or, you're in like kidney failure or something like that. Unless you're dealing with something like that, the oxalates are really not a concern, because first of all, one, our body creates oxalic acid, our liver creates it. So it's a natural thing to be in the body. But when we consume foods with oxalates in them, say you eat spinach, right? And there's a high oxalate load in spinach. It binds to, calcium or magnesium or other minerals in the spinach, but it's not going to pull it out of your body like a lot of people think. You just don't absorb as much out of the spinach. So if you eat other greens, kale or lettuces, other things that are lower in oxalates, you don't have to worry about missing out on calcium and any of those things. But the dietary oxalate levels that we consume make a very minute difference in the oxalate levels within the body. And really the body is designed to take in these foods and utilize what it needs and get rid of what it doesn't need. So if there is some oxalates in there that that the body doesn't want, it will get rid of them. And the thing with calcium oxalate stones that a lot of people worry about too is they form really in an acidic environment. So this is why people that eat animal products, a lot of meat and dairy, they have higher rates of kidney stones, right? Versus somebody that eats a plant-based diet, because they're flooding their system with these sulfur-containing amino acids and these very acidic, compounds that actually cause the calcium to bind with the oxalate, in the kidneys. And so if you're eating an anti-inflammatory diet with a lot of greens and things, it's not something that I would be worried about.
Oh, thank you you so much for sharing all that. It's such valuable information because there are countless people online who are perpetuating this myth,
Yeah,
and you're so right. Like it's not that big of a deal, but they run with it, right?
yeah,
And they use fear to scare people away. But also another thing, on another note, if you eat regularly oxalate containing foods in smaller amounts or whatever, you actually feed a bacteria in your gut that eats oxalates,
yeah,
right? So it
yes,
like helps to counterbalance that as well.
yep.
And in my gut microbiome testing, I have very high levels of those bacteria. So when I eat oxalates, it's like doesn't really like my bacteria is just like, yeah, look at all the
Yeah,
food.
party time.
So yeah, it's really interesting.
Yeah, it's cool. Good point.
All right, your turn.
All right,
Number two.
my next one is to reduce or eliminate the SOS, salt, oil, and sugar in your diet so that you sensitize your taste buds. All right. So I think a lot of people are hyper stimulated with their diet and with a lot of other things, but especially with their diet. And so if they're adding a lot of salt and oil and sugar, you're really kind of dulling the senses of your taste buds. And so you don't taste those more, subtle flavors and consistencies in the greens that you do when you start to recalibrate your taste buds and just your microbiome. And so by getting rid of processed foods and getting rid of, at least reducing the amount of salt, oil, and sugar, whatever your goals are, I would say to try to eliminate them. Um, then you will start to enjoy the taste of greens much more, which will get you to eat more greens. And so that would be the next easy way that I think people could start eating more greens is to get rid of those processed foods and hyper-stimulating compounds.
Love that point. It's so true because, as society, we are hyper stimulated, and right, the amount of dopamine that we get from eating something salty and oily compared to the amount of dopamine we get from eating greens is a very, very different. So, like, going back to the natural way. And that would be my second point, would be to grow your own food and grow your own microgreens to get more
Yeah,
greens in, because same idea, when you grow your own and you use like the proper amendments in the soil and use organic seeds and all that kind of stuff, you really get to taste like what it's actually supposed to taste like. Like going to John Kohler's garden is such a
I bet.
treat because you taste spinach like you've never tasted spinach before. You're like, why don't I eat spinach every day?
Yeah,
Because it's so good when it's grown properly in good, healthy soil. So when you grow your own, also you get your kids involved. If you have kids, right, you can have them help pull the weeds. And when they watch their own little plants grow, they're more interested in having that in their salad, that kind of thing. And you can actually get more variety in when you grow your own, because you can get all kinds of like different seed types and all kinds of fun different greens that you can add to your diet, and you get to grow them yourself.
yeah,
So yeah, so that would be my second point, would be to start growing your own, and especially the microgreens, because the microgreens they're easy to grow. We grow them here in our apartment, and you can get like radish microgreens and sunflower, which is really high in iron.
mm,
So people who are looking for iron, 1 cup of sunflower microgreens has like 6 milligrams of iron in it.
wow,
Crazy. I know. It's crazy
cool.
because I could easily eat 3 cups in a salad.
Yeah,
Like, so there's
sure.
my whole day's worth of iron, right? But yeah, like definitely starting to grow your own really gets things going to start adding more. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I love that because, yeah, like you said, when you shop at the grocery store, you're limited to what, the grocery stores are supplying, right? So
Yeah.
there's so many varieties that we don't really ever see because they're less, maybe they have a shorter shelf life or something. So yeah, that's a great point.
Mm-hmm. All right. So I've got so many.
I know
Your
there's so
turn.
many reasons.
Your turn. Number three
All
for
right.
Matt.
All right, like I say in the book, I think the one of the greatest ways to increase your level of green consumption is to find your green team. All right, so you want to
Ooh.
basically you just want to surround yourself with healthy minded people that are interested in, eating a healthy diet and living a healthy lifestyle, because we do become, we kind of absorb some of the traits of the people that we surround ourselves the most. And so if you want to eat more greens and get all those health benefits, surround yourself with people like Lissa and Nate and John Kohler, and these people that are eating a lot of leafy greens, because that's just going to naturally start to become one of your habits. And I think, it works for anything that you want to do in your life. And so I think, why not start with leafy greens and start, getting together with people, having like a salad bar with your friend, make your own salad bar type thing. I know Lissa does that. And so, I think there's many ways to enjoy eating greens with friends and just healthy food in general.
I love that. That is so important. Community,
Yeah.
so important. Tessa says, or attend the Raw Nutrition Health Show.
Yes. Thank you, Tessa. Yes.
That's awesome. I know, it's so great. And yeah, I love that you mentioned that. Like, surround yourself not just physically but digitally
Yeah.
with people who are eating a lot of greens. So you're like, oh, I want to try that and I want to try this. So important.
Yes.
Community, just so important. All right, so my third one will be to gamify it.
Ooh,
Gamify
nice.
it. I'm kind of a gamer at heart. I really like, challenges and gaming with myself to see if I can beat myself, or, like that kind of
Yeah.
thing.
Yeah.
So I like to gamify it by, when I go to the grocery store, I try to find new greens that I can add, or greens that I have never tried before, or go to the Asian market. Like, we have International Marketplace here and 99 Ranch, which are both, they have like all kinds of different Asian greens that we don't get at like Smith's or Winco or whatever, right? Like the regular stores. So every time we go there, I'm like, ooh, look at this red amaranth, which is a red spinach, and different kinds of bok choys and all kinds of different varieties of greens that you can get there. So I like to make a game of it, and I like to see how many different varieties I can get in my salad, or
No.
how many different kinds of greens I can eat, or how many different varieties I can find. So I like to play that. And then I wanted to throw a bonus one in here because
Yeah. Yeah.
I had to. One way that I like to get more greens in is with kale, because massaged kale goes in anything. You can
Right.
put massaged kale in pretty much
Yeah.
anything. And how I like to massage kale, because the typical massaged kale is like oil and salt,
Hmm.
right?
Yep.
But you don't even need oil or salt to do it. I like to put it in my hands and just kind of like rub it like this a
Mm,
lot, and
nice.
then it just breaks it up. Or if you wanted to, if you really wanted to, I like to mix like half a teaspoon, you don't need a lot, of tahini
Mm.
with a smidge of miso
Oh,
paste.
wow.
So at least you're getting, more whole foody kind of style
Yeah.
there, and mix it with a little bit of water and then massage the kale. But I just like to do it straight like that. And then I put the kale in wraps, in the burgers. I put it in like the taco meat. I'll just throw kale in absolutely anything I could possibly think of,
Nice.
because that's just a great way to get more in. And it goes great in like soups and stews and curries and all kinds of things. You can really stuff well with kale. So I wanted to throw that one in because I was like, that's a great way.
Yeah.
Just massage some kale.
Yeah, it's great. I've never tried the tahini and miso tactic or the technique, so I'm gonna have to try that. That sounds interesting.
Yeah, it just mix it with a little water or lemon juice. Someone in the chat said lemon and avocado. That's a
Oh,
great
wow.
combination too for
Yeah.
massaging.
Yeah.
Sometimes the fat helps with that, but I like to mix it with a little lemon juice or water to thin it out so it lasts all of
Sure.
it. But you can just get right in
Cool.
there.
Nice.
Yeah.
See, I knew I was gonna learn something when I came on here. So.
Someone's asking, what does massaging kale do? So the reason why I like to massage the kale is it makes like it kind of breaks up the cell wall. It releases a lot of like some of the phytonutrients and stuff, and it brightens the color and it makes it a lot easier to chew. So for people who have kind of issues with the kale, once you massage it, it's like
Like lettuce almost.
yes, yes. Tahini, miso, and lemon. It's like a trio of
Yeah.
awesomeness. Yeah. So, do you have any other tips that you would like to share?
Oh man. Well, I only wrote down three, but I mean, I could easily, roll off a few more. I mean, just simply, kind of just basic would be, don't think of just greens as like a salad meal. You can, like I kind of mentioned this earlier, but you can put it in, smoothies or juices or, again, like kind of, in the same idea of gamifying it, Lissa's wrap book, which is in the bundle, if you can make the wraps, that's like fun. That's like a fun way to eat, and it's still nourishing and just delicious. And so, yeah, I mean, finding fun, healthy ways to eat greens, I think is always a good idea. So finding ways to sneak it in, especially if you don't care for greens as much right now, and you're still kind of working on what I call building your green esteem, just your taste for greens. Finding little ways to sneak it into smoothies and things like that can really help you develop that taste and help you enjoy it more.
Nice.
So
Yes. Ah, we deeply appreciate you, Matt, and all you
thank
have
you.
to offer because you've got that book is so good.
Thank
Like
you.
like when I first got it, I was like, this is incredible. Like the amount of information you have in there. People got to get the bundle because even just for your book alone, it's worth it, right? Like
Thank you.
I sometimes don't think people really understand what the bundle is until they buy it because they're like, oh, there's like this and that or whatever in it. But then when they get it, they message me and they're like, I can't believe I get all 150 things. And I'm like,
Right.
yeah, you do. You get them all.
Yeah.
So
I was the same way. Before I was ever in a bundle and I would see people talking about bundles, I was like, I don't know. But now that I've been in them and I've seen what they're actually like, the value that's in them, I mean, it's insane that it's only $49 to get truly over $8,000 worth of content. It's like it's almost too good to be true,
I
But
know, right? I know. And the only catch is that it's only here until March 10th.
yeah.
That's the only catch. Like people, you guys are gonna get so much content, and you get our Nate and I filmed a live lunch, and it's 35 hours because we like to talk. But it's 35 hours of us making lunch in the kitchen,
Wow.
21 days. Like we did it 21 days back to back. Every single day we went live for an hour and a half to 2 hours, and we had a live audience at the time, so they're all pre-recorded, but we answered questions. We taught like little quick trips or tips tips and tricks to the audience, and just like how we like to chop things, how we like to get things ready for our hiking, all kinds of little tips. And we also, that was the first time that we ever made the tacos, the hard shell tacos.
Oh, really?
Was on that show because we were waiting for something to dehydrate, and Nate was like, let's make the nacho chips as kind of like a bonus recipe because he's got a nacho chip recipe in his dude food book. So we're like, okay, yeah, let's do that. And we had these templates and we had extra left over, so we made the bigger rounds. And when we like peeled them off and molded them to make the taco shells, we're like, this is like, it was almost like too good to be true. I was like, oh my gosh, is this actually gonna work? And then the next day we filled them and we ate them and they were crunchy and we're like, this is amazing.
Wow.
So we got to eat it for the first time on video. And then it ended up going into the taco book, which you can also get in the bundle.
Yeah, I will say, what is the value of what you guys have put in? Is it $1,000?
It's close.
I mean,
it's like 700,
wow.
something like that. Yeah.
That's very generous and like such a great, just that alone, is truly, it's such a great deal.
And we
So
want people to have this. Like that's
yeah,
why we promote it and we sound like broken records,
right.
because we want you to buy the bundle, because we want you to have all this
Yeah,
content, because it's just so good. And you know what's one of the ones that I'm like super excited about, and I've said this so many times, is Mike the Vegan. He submitted
yeah,
last minute his level 5 vegan book. I am
nice.
so excited to read that. I'm going to read it tonight before bed, because it's 100 pages, and it's got like lessons from ex-vegans and common things that cause people to leave the lifestyle. And
Nice.
yeah, so it's not like a transitioning to vegan, it's a how to stay vegan.
Okay.
So that's in the bundle too. It's just such a treasure trove. And someone in the chat's asking if you can quickly share your smoky dressing recipe.
Yeah, I was trying to find it. I don't know which smoky. I wonder if they're talking about smokehouse. And that actually, Smokehouse is not in this book. Smokehouse is in my other book, but there are other similar recipes to that, dressing recipes. But I am not. I don't know. There's a few kind of smoky ones, so you know, just DM me and I can find one for you and I'll send it to you.
Nice. Yeah, the smoked paprika is
Yeah,
like,
it's insane.
it just makes everything just so much more extra. I know some people don't really like it. I don't know, maybe they don't like the smoky part, but
Okay.
I'm like, oh my God. It's like one of my favorite spices.
Yeah.
That, onion powder, and mustard, and right now I'm really into Burberry spice blend.
Oh, I haven't had that one.
Ooh, actually,
Burberry.
you should check out in the bundle, so everyone listening can go
Yeah.
do this too. Daniel
Mm.
McKinnon has an ebook called Raw Nation, and in that book, he has a raw Burberry burger. Dude, it's so awesome. Oh my God.
Wow.
Yeah, it's really, really good.
Nice.
I was quite impressed with that one. Like the sauce, oh, like I want to make it now. I'm actually probably going to make it at some point during this week.
Nice. Yeah.
I
You
have
can't
to.
go wrong with Daniel's recipes. They're incredible.
Yeah, I know. And everybody is so unique. Have you noticed, like, when you try a recipe from someone, you're like, that's totally a Alyssa recipe,
Yes.
or that's totally a Matt recipe,
Yeah.
that's totally a Chris
Yep.
recipe. Yeah.
Yep. I know. That's the beauty of it.
Yeah.
You can make it. I mean, anybody can make it their own way, right? And so, yeah, that's just the fun part about learning how to kind of work the raw foods, and you can really make so many different variations of the same dish. So, yeah.
I know, right? It's so interesting. Like sometimes I'll try a recipe from somebody, and there will be part of me that's like, oh, you're gonna add this and add that. I'm like, no, just follow it.
Right.
And then I try it and I'm like, wow, this is so cool. You know, it's just different perspectives and different ways of combining things
Yeah.
to have like a different flavor that I probably wouldn't have done before, because, you know, I like it a certain way. And then, but
Yep.
it's really, really cool to try. And I hope everybody gets to try the recipes in the bundle and get the bundle. Thank you so much, Matt, for joining. Do you have any final words to share with everybody?
Oh gosh. Well, I would just say if you're going to get the bundle, which I hope you do, again, just have fun with it. You know, it's like the people that Lisa knows what I'm talking about. People that come on the game show, which my weekly game show that I do. Everybody's always nervous, and I'm just like, just have fun with it, right? Just like go into it, no pressure. Same with getting into raw, or even because again, this isn't an all raw bundle. But it's like, don't put too much pressure on yourself. Just take it at a pace that you're going to be able to sustain, and just have fun with it. And you're going to learn as you go, and you'll learn different ways to make these dishes, and it's going to be a good time. You're going to feel great. You're going to be hydrated. You're going to be just full of energy, and yeah, it's going to, for $50, $49. I think, Lissa, you said it was like 32 or 33 cents per thing. Like,
I
come
know,
on,
I know.
come on.
I know, and some people have said too, they're like, oh, is there duplicates in this bundle? And I'm like, well, even if you do buy it, the duplicate was 32
Yeah,
cents.
yeah,
So, I mean, like, to get something that's worth, like, Danielle from Pacha Vega, she has her course in there for $797.
wow.
So, oh, you know, like, oh, you know, if you have a duplicate of a couple things that you already might have,
Yep.
the amount of things that you don't have far surpass, you know, that. So yeah, 32 cents. It's
Yep.
like 32, 33 cents per item. It's crazy.
That's crazy. Yeah.
Yeah. So thank you so much, Matt, for being part of the bundle, and thank you for doing this live with me. It
Yeah.
was a pleasure. What are you having for dinner?
Well, I'm gonna make a salad, of course. I got every night. It's gonna be a salad, and yeah, that's what I'm gonna start with, and we'll see what happens from there. But yeah, 5-star salad. That's the way to go.
Nice. Yep. Same here. Same here. Gonna
Right.
go make a nice salad. I'm gonna dig into the bundle and see what kind of raw. I might make one of yours.
Ooh. All right. Cool. I can't wait to see it.
All right. Awesome. Thank you so much for joining. And
Thank
anyone
you.
who wants to support either of us, go grab the bundle. Link is in either of our bios. So head over to Matt's Raw Intuition page, get the bundle from the link in his bio, or you could go to mine. It doesn't matter. Get the bundle because we want you to experience health. So thank you, Matt. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you,
We'll
Lisa.
definitely have to chat again.
I hope so.
Yes,
Yes.
we will. All right.
All right.
Ciao, ciao.
Yep. See you later.
See ya.